We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
I know I'm not the one. Don't fake it, well, you don't belong to me.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Holocaust of the Ekajati on the Dire Bear Adventuring Company's Twitch channel. Put a blank of the name there. Brought to you in association with the Nerd Eternal Network. Last week, let's see, where did we leave off last week? Y'all were at a cat, I think, had snuck to the entrance of the ruin you were exploring, or that you had finished exploring, and saw a large collection of the natives outside. They had surrounded the entrance but were making no attempt to enter. There were several with spears in the front, bows in the back, so hardly high-tech but still potentially dangerous. And this was after you had explored the ruins. What did y'all get away with? A couple of servers, some hard drives?
Robot pieces.
Oh,
Robot
yeah, the robot
arm.
pieces. The one truly working artifact that y'all were sent to recover, y'all blew apart. Rookie mistake.
We were not told to recover it. We were told to find out what it was.
Pretty sure he wanted you to bring it back.
Oh, he wanted us to bring it back. We weren't
Well,
gonna
that's
be
why
forced
we
to.
have several parts of it, including both of the hard drives for the thing, including its head.
Yeah, I don't know that it counts as working condition anymore, though. But
To
be
be
that
fair-
as it may, you're hardly off planet yet.
To be fair, I did make the attempt, but it had advantage on the wisdom save, so
Also, to be fair, it attacked first.
that too.
But that gets into the whole, if you break into somebody's home and they attack you thing.
No, that's an automaton.
That's true. I guess that'd be
That's
like
a-
if you broke into somebody's house and then you shot up their security system.
No, we didn't break in. We simply walked in because someone else had already broke in.
I seem to recall you having to use Esper powers and computer skills to get the doors open.
That's because they didn't have power.
We were just making sure everything was still there.
And then we ransacked the place and destroyed a valuable, thousands of years old robot.
Like, that's just because their house was poorly designed to not have doors open if you didn't have electricity.
They were basically asking us to take their stuff.
Or maybe they just locked it up and went on vacation and were planning to come back just any time now.
And they need to really keep their place in better condition.
Then they need to set out a little sign that says, "Hey, we're gone."
We'll
Don't
be
break
back
in.
we'll be back in 5 hours.
Anyway. So the rest of y'all, I think, were climbing up from the lower floor, hauling up y'all's ill-gotten gains. Kat, you had snuck towards the door. I forget if y'all had heard something out there or if you were just being naturally cautious.
I don't think we had heard anything.
Okay. I think perhaps y'all were just being cautious then.
Considering we took a good amount of time rummaging around down.
You think if we just went back in and chilled for a while, they'd get bored and left?
I'm all for that idea.
I brought
Yeah.
snacks.
I literally have 10 days of food for me.
But if you spread that amongst the entire party, how long is it?
I think most people have about 10 days of food.
Yeah.
Most bags should start with 10 days of rations.
Alright, so anyway, I've already got y'all put on the map. Crap, I messed up the old zoom. Let me... Alright, I got that. Alright. So I have put Kat's miniature, or token, at the door. The rest of y'all just got lined up there so you're on the map. If it comes down to combat, you may be able to talk your way out. Oh,
Talk our way out of it to people we don't know the language of. This will go well.
what could possibly go wrong?
Attempt ballet?
Interpretive
When we
dance.
try to talk to the robot.
Just one moment. There was one person I forgot to put on the map. Okay. Now, as you see all these...
Oh no. They're the Smurfs.
It could be a guy in a kilt, you don't know. Or my poor generic stickman token is going to get laughed at every time I pull them out.
Yeah.
When you pull out all the stickmen and one stick woman, yes.
I mean, you would have just left them all stickmen, and we would have just assumed they were like.
I'm gonna assume it's because that one's special.
Yes, I just need y'all to be able to tell it apart. And the only other stickman I've got has got like a little kid next to him, so you know.
You know, it just occurred to me we probably shouldn't harass him when we were about to get into trouble.
Yeah, this.
Nah, we'll be fine.
But you know, that's when I start dropping these things all over the place.
See, notice how I haven't
Oh,
said
fuckers.
anything yet. And I'm going away now. Bye. I'm gonna sneak around here. I'm gone.
All right.
Please. Can't have one that big. The door's only so large. Just step back inside and face my death by laser.
Well, it's like a land-bound squid. It's very squishy. All right. Seriously though. So you've got all these. All the guys you see out here are basically armed with melee weapons. Up under the trees, there are a lot of people with bows. I believe the count I gave Kat last time was around 60.
Yeah, you said between 50 and 60.
You know, you couldn't get a precise count of the ones in the woods because some of them are moving around, and you know. And you know, you've got dark vision, but you know that only goes out so far. So. The one noticeably different one standing out here, though, is not armed, unless you count the staff they're holding. You could probably... Yeah, you could probably... These guys are basically mammals, so you can pretty well tell the gender. They're, it's all guys you see right now. The one with the staff is just sort of standing there watching the door. I mean, they're all kind of watching the door, but where the rest of them are nervous, he's just kind of standing there waiting. His hair doesn't have as much color. Even not being real familiar with this species, he looks like he's an older guy. Where the rest of them, you see a couple of them that are probably that teenagerish, like you ran into before, but several of them look like they're, you know, between the teenager and the old man. So you've probably got some of the villagers more mainstream or top end warrior types. And I forget what you rolled for your stealth, but I seem to recall it being pretty good.
I can re-roll if you want. I don't think I had rolled for stealth.
You know, you may
yet,
not
'cause
have. You may
Yeah,
not
you.
have.
I
You
think
kind of
she
ended
did.
it. And it doesn't show it anywhere in here.
Could have sworn you did, and it was like stupidly high.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I'm with her. I roll it. I look at the previous rolls, and I really don't see anything that looks like it.
I can just re-roll it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wasn't it that natural 20 up there?
That was probably for something else.
I'm seeing a lot of stealth rolls further up.
Let's see.
Might have been something else.
See, I'm seeing stuff.
No, yeah, that was our when we were getting to them. Okay.
Anyway, 23 is still plenty high.
Yeah, okay.
She's got like the lights out on her mask and everything, just kind of like, oh shit.
They don't seem to notice. They're not holding any torches. But this is a little clearing. There is some moonlight.
Does she have reception to get back in contact with
Yes, I believe once you got to the door, I believe you could reestablish contact with the ship, yes. Because there had been
Okay,
some talk of calling him in, but I can't remember if y'all actually done it or just
Yeah.
discussed it.
She'll probably just not even ask the other people right now and be like, "Hey, Jim, we might have a situation. Could you warm up the engines for us and just kind of hang out in the pilot's area and just, be ready to come do some thrilling heroics."
You hear switches being thrown. I mean, granted, everything should probably be touch screens because it's the future, but that's just not dramatic.
The touch screens have been programmed to have the switch throw noise.
That way you know when you've clicked them.
There we go. And then she'll go back and
Yeah, that's
tell
no
everyone
problem.
what's going on.
How hairy is it?
50, 60 people worth of hairy. We don't know exactly how hairy they're going to be towards us.
Ooh, yeah. I'll get the roustabout prep for lunch.
I'll keep you updated.
Okay, I'll be here.
And she'll go back and tell everyone else what she saw as far as 50, 60 people, tree line, and melee, and guy out front with a stick.
Okay, party. What you going to do?
Maybe the ship will scare him away.
Maybe, but
Same time, there's no guarantee these primitive yahoos aren't just going to spend the next few hours after the ship comes over hurling spears and shooting arrows at it.
This clearing is also not large enough for the ship to touch down.
Yeah, we'd have to go out and climb a rope up.
wish we could speak their language, or at least some form of communication to figure out what the hell they
No.
want.
Have we explored all of the first level of this place?
Yes, the first level's in extremely bad shape and had already been picked over by the previous expedition.
But there's no other exits.
No, you did not see any.
Could we make another exit? Do we have this kind of firepower?
With all the well, let's see. Give me a.
Well,
Let me look at your character sheets here.
with the gun that I handed our lizard man friend, I could power it, and it's a rail gun. Those things hit hard.
Yeah, but it's like an anti-personnel one, so it's not a. Not going to do the kind of damage like a naval railgun does.
Yeah.
Now, we were able to piece together that these guys probably aren't native to this planet.
That was one theory you had, yes.
I feel like they were
Well-
planted here.
To be fair, after like 3 generations, you're kind of considered native to a place. And these guys have probably been here a while.
What I'm trying to get at is maybe there's some remnants of. I'm sorry. What are the aliens' names again? The Anjeti?
We didn't get a name for the
No, for the people who this possible ship belonged to.
You do not know.
Yeah,
We
the
didn't get a
people
name
this
for either race.
You read the name. At some point, you have probably read the name of their race, but you're not even sure how to pronounce it because that power that was letting. Was it Adrian that was reading stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That power gives you a literal translation.
Uh-huh.
So it translates their name, which translates as one race, or one peoples, or something like that.
All right.
So you're not sure how to be
maybe-
pronounced. You just know that's what the name of their people means.
What I'm trying to get at is maybe those people out there understand some measure of this language and spoken form. So maybe we could Hull could try and communicate with them. Say, friend, no danger, please leave.
But we just killed him.
I have
We
Like,
didn't.
a few
everything.
hours ago.
We threatened one.
We
We didn't actually kill him.
No, you threw knives at some of them, but you missed.
But he also didn't notice.
Yeah.
You don't think he noticed, no. So as far as they're concerned,
I think you told us that he didn't notice because they fell behind him.
Yeah, we missed that badly, or like because we were looking to
Yeah,
see
I
if
think
he
you're right,
turned
because he
around.
didn't. I told you he gave no indication of having noticed. He didn't look back or flinch.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he could have, but we just don't know that.
You don't know for sure. You're pretty sure he didn't, but you don't know for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
It all depends on how much you make fun of my stick people.
They're amazing icons.
Adrian will pipe up as, well, I've got literally everything that I've translated here, and I can speak a little bit from what I translated from the robot.
Do we even know if that's their native language still?
Well, what we know from the computers is these two races have had contact with each other before. They recognize it.
I mean, it's either try this or we see how we hold up in a firefight against a vastly superior numerical force.
Well, they don't seem to be wanting to enter here, so I mean, I believe as far as we're in here, we're safe for the time.
Clearly, you have to pick one sacrificial lamb and shove him out the door.
I can do it.
I vote for Hole, because, that'll teach Patrick not to show up.
I can walk out with no weapon out, and if they attack, immediately make a weapon show up.
I mean, I've got Jim warming the ship. We can always have him come in and swoop him if we need.
Alright, so what's the plan?
It's time for the best part of every D&D session. Let's take a vote. Danru will vote Danru goes out as the shield.
All in favor?
Cat'll volunteer to go out too, just since it is, as far as she can tell, mostly males. Maybe a female showing up, being like, maybe they're the non-combative group. Maybe it'll save them. She's picking at straws here.
Maybe.
Danru
always
is slightly
try.
disgusted by your strange sexual dimorphism of aliens.
I'm pretty sure the cashier are male and female too.
Not mean that all aliens are male and female.
That's true. And some of them may have the genitals on their knees. You never know. There's a Star Trek reference, Tyler.
It's okay, champ. Not every reference has to be made mention of.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi game. We need to.
Yeah.
All right, march yourselves out then. How far out of the cave are you coming?
I lost connection. Roll 20, 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
2 steps.
And she would probably come out even with whoever is going out.
Okay, I'll go ahead and
No
move
weapons visible. She'll pop her mask off before she comes.
And Adrian will come out. He's still carrying the robot's head, but
Now, alright. This is something that became a way different activity than Danru has stated.
We should maybe not come out with the
We should maybe
robot's
not have
head.
the entire team jump out. We're literally having one person step out to see if they attack or not.
Okay, Cat then will stay kind of like in the doorway, weapon behind her back.
Okay. But visible to,
Yeah, like just out of the doorway, but not as far.
enough that they know he's not alone, but you're not really
Yeah.
walking out aggressively or anything.
Yeah, no
Okay.
aggressive movements.
Alright.
Just like move over there and watch them.
Alright, so Tyler, you're walking out. Danru is walking out, like, hands up, or...
And Dano just steps out casually, no hands up.
What's up?
Hey,
Do you say anything or you just walk out?
I'll say, hello and head nod. And I guess common, because that would make more sense than any of the other languages I know.
As soon as you step out, all the spear wielding guys kind of, they were already kind of at attention, but they kind of dropped their spears.
Oh, they dropped them? They gave up?
No, they dropped
Yay,
the
we
points.
won!
We won! Yay! Let's leave.
Well, they're a species with very large noses. Your lack of a nose freaks them out.
Quick, what's the biggest nose? Get out of here.
But, they lower their spears, but, they don't act overly aggressive other than that. When you say hello, the man with the staff greets you in common. It's not stuttering, but it's clearly his second language, and he's not totally fluent in it. Hello, stranger. What has brought you here? Then he waits for an answer.
Cat kind of pokes her head back in. Guys, someone out here speaks common.
What?
Interesting.
We were asked to see what was in this cave.
By whom? Are you just blanking on his name?
No, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it. Because, how is he just... Is he gonna just know it? See... Someone from our culture who studies the ancient... the ancient things of worlds.
One of your learned men, came here before.
I suppose it's someone similar, yes.
You have no business here. Your searching and exploring is a violation.
We'll leave right now.
I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to assume there's a punishment involved.
Have you disturbed anything?
Francis is currently just flipping over the arm, looking at it. Man, this is neat.
Cat's close enough to hear this. She's like, guys, don't come out with anything.
Danner's sitting there in thought. We tied a rope to a rock.
Have you taken anything? If you've taken nothing and done no damage, you may leave. Otherwise, you'll have to come down to the village with us for us to question you and your motives and determine how wrong or wrong has been done. Like I said, he's clearly not completely fluent in your language.
I'm one of the bulkier guys. Am I carrying the robot arm or is someone else carrying the robot arm?
That would be our lizard man friend that is doing that.
Alright. So I don't have any... I know we divvied up stuff, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Which means there's stuff in my bag.
There's at least 2 server trays, essentially, that you took. But they're decent sized. There's the robot's head and the robot's arm. As far as smaller stuff, you had the robot's hard drive, the robot that looked like it had been cannibalized to keep the first one going. You had its hard drive. I can't remember if you took much of anything else or not.
I mean, Cat's been swiping knickknacks.
Oh yeah, you
As
took
they
a lot of the commander's knickknacks out of his room.
Fabric
Yeah.
sample.
Alright, Danner will ask him if he has seen the large being within the cave.
The benefactor's guardian, yes, we're familiar with it. It defends the lower part of the ruins.
Does a great job.
I'm surprised that you
Yeah.
have seen it and lived.
Well, to be fair, I probably look a little bit beat up. Yeah, I did happen to meet it, yes.
You look like you have seen. Yes, you look like you have seen combat. Did you flee or did you destroy it?
Danner stands there for a moment. I will not lie to you, sir. I met it in combat.
And what has become of the guardian?
What has occurred to it is what had already occurred to its brother, but rather it occurred by time. It occurred by my hand.
Thousands
did
and
try to
thousands of
talk to
years it has been there. It has done its duty, protecting the lower level as we were supposed to protect the upper. And you come with no business and simply begin destroying. You'll have to come down to the village with us.
I completely understand, sir.
Our boys that were guarding the pathway up here, one of them saw more of you than just yourself and the female.
We were lost in combat.
The others are not combatants or soldiers such as I am.
They will all need to
We were
come with us. We will suss out the level of guilt that each member of your party bears.
I understand, sir. I will take full responsibility for their actions.
One must always take responsibility for one's own actions. We will discuss what each of your party did. You have been forthright with me. That is a good start. It is possible that you had no ill intent when you came here. I have not seen the guardian with my own eyes, but from tales it is quite fearsome in appearance.
Is Adrian just sitting there holding its head?
It was
While
fairly
this
fearsome.
While this is going on, Kat's gonna like duck back in and be like, "Is there anywhere we can put this, like, to where we don't possibly get it all repossessed by the folks out front? We can kind of like hide it, to pick it up later, or have Jim pick it up, maybe."
You can leave it in the cave, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, we can take it down to the lower level and I can seal the door.
Would that be something they'd be able to do quick and quiet?
Quiet, maybe. Quick, no. It took y'all a while to haul it all up here.
Are any of the doors up here where they would have to be activated to be turned on and off? Or to
No, they're all
opening?
open.
Damn.
The ones that had not fallen off because of damage, the original team had like removed and set to the side.
thing that Adrian really wants to keep is that data, though. He could care less really about the head and the arm. That's just sort of knickknacks for him. That data is something he really wants to hold on to.
Isn't the data
Yeah, I think
in
you
the-
had one of them, and Hull had one of them. Of
Yeah.
the server trays.
Danru will also
No, it's
ask
I
if
think-
he has time.
yeah. I mean,
Ask
he
for
has one of the
questions
hard
back.
drives too, but
Now, what was Danru going to ask?
To the elder, did the previous people that showed up talk to you?
Not the previous ones that violated the cavern of the benefactors, but the ones before that, they were, I think, the first of your peoples to discover us. They discovered the cavern, but that was not their realm of knowledge. They were interested in the wildlife of the planet, our culture. Some of them learned a little bit of our language, and we learned a little bit of theirs. They left a device that could teach us their language, or teach us more of their language when they left. You know, it has ceased to function since they left, but it was in my childhood that they were here. So
at that point, Adrian can't help himself. He'll lean around the door. Cease to function how?
the button that would activate it stopped activating it, and then you just kind of.
I could probably fix that.
That would be delightful, and a show of good faith.
Yeah, I can't help myself around technology. I've always been interested for new things.
And yet here you are, wreaking destruction on old things.
Well,
to
I mean,
us.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the data that I was able to pull out of here is really interesting.
What have you pulled out?
Danru is just breathing. Just breathing.
Well, I mean, I've been capable of powering everything in here. Bring it all back to life, so to speak.
Oh no.
The previous ones were not able to do that. Though, we convinced them to leave before they had done more than violate the first floor.
Well, they kind of felt you were going to kill them.
That would not have been our first choice. Had
It's
they
not what they
insisted,
thought.
had they insisted on staying, things might have become more unpleasant.
Hmm.
But please, let us retire to the village.
Yeah. He'll, just leave the head, hidden behind a rock or something.
Alright, so what are you taking with you as you walk out of the cave? Keeping in mind that they know you've taken something.
Cat,
the way you've
we
been talking.
should probably just take everything with us, honestly. Because if they let us leave, they're probably going to make us leave from the village.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Better to have it and a chance to take it with us than to not be able to come back and get it.
He's still just gonna... Well, yeah, he'll... Shit.
Put it in a backpack. Is it small
Danru-
enough to go in a backpack, the head?
No, I
the
don't
head,
think
no.
so.
Damn.
Danru will say, I will go get them. Give us one moment,
He
and we'll
nods
step in. And if he allows me to step back into the cave,
Yeah, he does. Like I said, he seems to think you've been forthright with him so far.
Adrian's looking really sheepish, sorry, I'm just not the best with people in super stressful situations like this. What?
You have a drone, correct?
No, that's the
I
other
believe
one.
it's Hull that had the drone.
Hull. Since he is not here, I command him.
What do you want his drone to do?
Hold on, I have to roll handle animal first. Easy. It can hold stuff. After we leave, if his range is long enough, Yeah, it can fly off when no one sees anything.
I don't think it could carry much of the stuff, though.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a general purpose drone he's got and how much of a is an explanation for some of his abilities a drone is.
Oh, okay. It is not an actual drone. It is more of a theoretical amorphous drone that does things.
Swiss Army knife.
It's
drones.
possible. I have not read all the class abilities real close. I was kind of relying on y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if he was here, he could probably rattle it off.
Yeah.
Let me find he was an engineer, I believe.
Then never mind, because that was a very minor thing of just like, we can still accomplish the job even if we die.
Which is important to you. The rest of the party might not care about that as much.
Kat will get back on the radio with Jim and be like, Jim, does this shows you pretty much where we are, right?
Yes, the comms have a GPS.
Okay.
Well,
If we
GPS
left
algorithm.
one of our comms here, would you be able to swing by theoretically undercover and pick something up?
There's not a good landing spot close to the outpost or the ruins, and I probably couldn't do that without being seen.
Okay. Never mind. Thanks for the
Yeah,
idea.
the roustabout is not a stealth vehicle. Not in any fashion. Oh, there's the engineer. Don't know how many times I flipped past him.
I mean, we might as well take what we have that doesn't look super threatening, like ahead of their dead guardian's benefactor's guardian. And granted, they might not have gotten a good look at it, but might not be a good thing to take.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the head here.
And I guess I'll leave the arm.
You sound so disappointed.
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, with y'all putting it down, Dan will go ahead and say, man, they already know it's dead.
Yeah, but I don't think that they know that we literally tore it to pieces and we're toting some of its body parts with
We
us.
could say it was maybe the one that was already dead.
The broken down one?
Yeah!
I mean, that's where I
still
picked this one
kinda
up
like, That's still kind of like saying, oh, don't worry, this isn't your dear pet's limbs I'm carrying around. It's your other dear departed pet's limbs I'm carrying
It's a
around
spare
after
pet.
you doomed it.
from.
I mean, to be fair, they've never met the thing.
Yeah. Suppose not.
So, you know, sure, I'm carrying the head of something. But then again, Danner will go ahead and openly admit, if they ask what it is, I'll tell them.
Honesty is the best policy.
They're an intelligent they're not an unintelligent species. We could have negotiated this, and this dude got greedy. I took a job, I'll do the job. I feel bad about taking this job now. Because we could have just asked them for permission.
May as well take it all. If they come back up to the first level here, they'll see.
Mm. Yeah.
Because they said they're the ones guarding the first level, and the benefactor's guardian was guarding the second level.
Alright, so y'all marching out with everything?
I
Yeah,
guess so.
not gonna help our case, but maybe we get to keep it.
Poor naive soul.
Doubt it, but
So when you walk out with the server trays, no particular reaction. They clearly don't have a clue what it is. The guy with the staff kind of nods. When you walk out with the robot's head and arm, that kind of gets a reaction from everybody. And then you dismembered it.
well,
That is how you work on something as this
Yes,
creature is.
We know it was not truly alive, that it was a device. Still, we have such stories of it.
Cattle
It's been there
speak
such a
up.
long time.
We
Cattle
can
speak up. Like, we
put
did
it-
try to reason with it. We tried to learn its language, but it didn't respond to us. It attacked us, and we had to defend ourselves.
Yes, we've never known of it speaking.
And we can put it back together if you'd simply like it put together.
You're not entirely certain about that? Its
We
technology
learned-
way more advanced than you're familiar with?
We
At that
learned how to
point,
take it apart properly. I'm sure we can put a welder to it.
It
Oh,
wouldn't be
you
functional.
can
At that-
reassemble the pieces you take off, yes.
yeah.
I don't mean start it back
Adrian,
up. I just mean like put it together as a statue if you'd like it as a statue.
Where's the corpse of your dead guardian?
Oh well, I and the rest of the village elders have to decide what to do now. I guess our people will have to take up defending the second floor too.
Well, that would be
And
kind of
Tanner
hard
will
with the
say-
doors sealing behind you.
Well, Danner will mention you. You would most likely have had to take that up soon anyway. The benefactor's guardian was not in the best of shape when we met it.
Yeah, it kind of cannibalized the other one for parts.
He looks puzzled when you use the word cannibalize. Like he's trying to kind of suss out what that actually means.
It took parts from
yeah.
a second one to keep itself running. But there
Basically,
was not a third for it to continue taking parts from.
I see, yes.
yeah. I mean, given enough time and the proper, facilities and tools, I could see about at least restoring some functionality, but
Oh well. We will go to the village and nine of the elders will discuss it.
Will
So-
we be allowed to state a case in defense?
Yes. Oh yes. I and the other elders and some of the other people will be speaking with you long into the night.
Understood.
Alright, so I assume y'all all come out and travel with him to the village without incident, without...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cat'll update Jim on what's going on, just so he knows.
Okay, he says it would be tricky if he had to evac you from the village. And he's looking on the map. The village is on the edge of a lake. I could sort of hover over the lake and drop the
Like,
gangplank.
We're not gonna try and, escape. Right now, we don't seem to be being threatened. We're just... It's all good, Jim. It's all good.
If y'all are sure. Just, if things go tits up, remember an emergency
stuff starts
evac is a
getting-
potential plan.
If stuff starts going pear-shaped, you'll be the first person we call.
Well, probably the only person on the planet you could call.
Same thing.
Alright. Alright, so you're carried to the village. There is food being cooked when you walk in. It doesn't smell half bad. They're roasting it on spits. You're not sure what kind of critter it is, but picture something the size of a large rabbit. But it's built.
Like a brick house.
Gonna say, is it that damn insect thing that attacked us?
No, it's kind of frog shaped. It's like the general body plan of a frog. But looking at like one that they're still preparing, it appears to be more of a mammal.
It's a frabbit.
Well, it doesn't have any ears or anything, but it's like a... Yeah. You know, clearly it fills the kind of the frog niche in this world, but it's not amphibian. Anyway, as they bring in to the center of the village. They take all the items that you took from the... or all the big obvious items they take. The server trays, the head and arm of the robot. They kind of poke through your other stuff. Are you going to attempt to... Let's see how I want to put this. Sometimes they hold your own gear up and start looking at it and ask you about it. You know, because they're not sure what you packed with you and what's from there. You know, it's like some stuff they seem to be pretty sure from jump is not, you know, does not belong to the benefactors. When they get to the hard drives from the robots, they don't seem to be completely sure, though. Who was carrying the hard drives?
I think myself and Hull were.
Okay. When they hold the hard drive up and ask you about that, are you going to tell them the truth, or are you going to try to deceive them into thinking it's something you brought with you?
Yeah, he'll just say it. Well, it was in that thing's head. I was hoping to see what it knew and maybe see about reactivating it at some point.
They
They'll
nod, they
fix
put
it
it over
up.
there with a pile with the rest of the stuff.
As a show of good faith, Kat will unload the knickknacks in her pockets and put them in the pile.
More so than with the tech stuff, the people seem interested in seeing those. Because it's little arts and kind of craft stuff. It's stuff that to some degree they recognize. They at least recognize kind of what it is. Even if they don't know necessarily what this little statue represents or what this is a picture of.
Miss Jade will do the same grudgingly.
And she's like, man, that would have looked great in the ship.
Well, I mean, if she hadn't, I would have just gonna pass it off to like heirlooms from my great aunt Martha or something.
Well, you can always roll deception. So what's the worst that could happen?
Well, I mean, all of my stuff looks the same as hers, so now they're gonna definitely know that it's not mine.
Who had the
Create-
carpet samples?
That was me.
You gonna try to deceive them about the carpet samples?
It's a pro rug.
Let me check my.
Your stats, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna try and bullshit them. Yeah, it's a family heirloom prayer rug.
Alright, give me a roll. Your deception should be on the sheet and should be... I think that was one of the ones you were proficient with.
There we go.
Not bad. And he rolled a 3. Okay. He accepts that. You know. He might not know exactly what you mean by prayer rug. Or why you would pray to a rug, but... But, you know, it appears to be some kind of fabric. They've got fabric for their tents. You know, he does not see that as necessarily something that would clearly came from the benefactors. So you get to keep your extremely aged carpet sample.
Lucky bastard.
Say, does Adrian notice that they seem like super interested in the stuff?
And the knickknacks, yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Okay, he'll is the one that was talking in common in there with them?
Yeah, this is all taking place kind of in the center of the area here. And there are a lot more people about than I've got thrown down there.
Okay. he'll just kind of go over, and because he's half dumb and half curious at the same time, he'll open up his PDA and like have like the images and stuff of apparently what we know as the benefactors, and also the images of them with these people, and show it to him. I was like, "Can you tell me about this?"
You suddenly have, other than a few of the warriors that are obviously kind of standing guard, you suddenly have everybody's attention when you start flashing the photos around. I mean, the elders, the common folk, the children, everybody's kind of bustling up around you to get a good view.
He's suddenly looks very, very nervous, like, sorry? Should I have not asked?
One of the elders, not the one you've been speaking to before, but another one that apparently speaks some common. No, this is fine. We have the benefactors depicted in some of our artwork. Paintings we have left in other caves, where they can be preserved over the long term. Occasionally children's dolls. But this is a copy you made of the benefactor's own art?
Yeah, I powered their technology and made a copy of it.
From our stories, this appears to be the benefactors, yes. And some of our forefathers that were brought here.
Okay.
Cat'll kind of pipe up. You were brought here. You were not always here.
No, many thousands and thousands of years ago, the world we were from was poisoned in some fashion. Something in the sky, one of our moons, released some sort of energy. Animals began rapidly changing on our planet. The weather went out of control. We were on the verge of extinction when or on the verge of dying out. Extinction's a big word for this guy. We were on the verge of dying out when the benefactors came. Told us they had found another world for us.
So that's what it meant when they said they were trying to help you settle in.
A moon. Do you think it was a crucible?
What was that, Zach?
Stuff.
Do you think it was a crucible?
Are you asking the rest of the party or this elder?
Yeah, the rest of the party.
Carol will be like, that might explain why stuff changed so rapidly.
Could have been. They do emit an odd type of energy.
The elder just kind of looks at you. He doesn't seem to recognize the word crucible.
Danru will explain what we mean by crucible. Large, moon-sized structures built by a race we've never met. We've never met before, and we're not sure exists anymore. But we're so advanced, they could, build such things, and finding them has helped advance all others' cultures.
That is possible then. The benefactors found us because this energy began being emitted, that it became alive. No, active. But they said something was wrong with it. They were able to move us here. They were able to change us so we fit this world a little better.
And that explains the other rooms. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, could the benefactors have had something to do with the crucible at all? Maybe they were tied in with the crucibles? Maybe that's why this stuff is so advanced?
It's possible. I mean, At this point, not caring that everyone's crowded around him, he's literally like going through the books upon books upon books of text of the benefactors that he had translated that he's currently reading through to try to see if he can find something.
Give me an investigate right quick.
Okay.
See if you can find anything in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Not proficient, but it is an int thing, which I'm good at, so. 19?
Okay. The only reference to crucibles that you find is where the commander references leaving a world, jumping to the closest crucible to this world, and then talking about the amount of time it took them to travel, to here. Based on how long it took you to travel, either they had found a closer crucible than you used, or their ships travel a whole lot faster than yours.
Yeah. He'll just read that part out loud.
I like how you've implemented the worst part of the South just for travel. How far is it away? About 20 minutes. Yes, time. The greatest measurement of distance.
Yes, exactly. But that's the trick. It's like a journal entry, so he's not given specific coordinates.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say it took like X amount of miles. It took about 3 days to get here.
Yeah.
Crucible travel requires the specific galactic coordinates for where these crucibles are, which is why you can only jump the ones that you already know about.
Yeah.
But he's not getting. But this is like a personal journal kind of thing. So he's not. He talks about what crucible they jumped to, but he's given like names, not the coordinates, and you have no idea what name these people assigned to what crucible.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But eventually the conversation gets back to what brought you here. It's like they're trying to kind of suss out what exactly you did. What was your motivation for coming here? The man that sent you, what was it that he was seeking? So give me... Other than Francis, y'all been completely honest with these people so far. Not necessarily volunteering information to them, but you've been pretty straightforward and honest in your answers. Let's see. Is diplomacy still a thing in this one? I think it is.
No.
It's persuasion, I think.
Persuasion and deception, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's persuasion, deception, intimidation.
Persuasion if you're being on it, deception if you ain't.
Alright. Each of you give me a persuasion roll. As you try to convince them of your, at least your pure intent. Clearly you've wrecked some stuff. But...
I'd say, in lieu of that, can Adrian have, requested the thing to fix it like he said he was going to? And, he's not even trying, he's going to let everybody else do it? Because he's more focused on fixing the thing?
Well, regardless of what you're doing, they are going to insist on talking to you some and getting their opinion of you.
Oh, okay.
I will let you have advantage since you are fixing the tablet.
Yeah.
Or data pad, or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to need his tools back for that, but yeah.
Well, mostly they just took the stuff that they could tell was benefactor
okay.
artifacts. Your gear, they pretty much left with you. They have taken your weapons now.
Yeah,
they ain't stupid. But...
I suck at charisma stuff.
Wow, and that was...
At advantage, yeah.
-1.
Yep. He's an awkward duckling with people. And it's probably very obvious that he very much prefers working with machinery.
Yep. Yeah, the elder questioning you does not seem terribly impressed with you. impressed with the work you do. The
Yeah.
fact that you get them there with their tablet working again, which to your amusement is essentially a children's tablet.
Yeah, he's just like, he looks
CNC.
at it,
Yeah,
and
a
he's just
little
like,
more advanced than that. But
he's already like making improvements to make it work better, and
But software-wise, it's essentially it's a teaching tool for like an elementary level.
yeah.
You know, like a 4th or 5th grade level tops.
Hmm.
You know, basic things. There's some math. There's some, common is the only language it teaches. But
Are they all in the same area while he's repairing this?
they've kind of got y'all spread out through the camp, and different elders walk around talking to different ones of you. It's like they're getting a feel for you.
Because if they were close enough, Kat would have suggested maybe upload a copy of what we found, like as much as we can, to there. That way they have the history of the benefactors.
The pad's got plenty of unused storage, so
Yeah, if she was close enough, she would say that. If not, ignore.
you don't have any problem walking over and suggesting it. You know,
Okay. Then
you're
she'll be
not
like, "Hey."
imprisoned yet.
He'll just sort of blink and look up, then look at the elders and like, do you want a copy of all of their pictures?
Certainly. Clearly,
Okay.
clearly they do not view you copying information as a theft. There's no copyright protection here.
Sounds like they're smart people to me.
Yeah.
No
okay.
DRM on this stuff.
He'll just kind of like, and he'll go back to the tablet and start like making copies of the copies and like sliding the images over. Pretty much just like more or less ignoring them in favor of dealing with the technology, which he is infinitely more familiar with and or comfortable with working with, as opposed to people.
Okay. Around probably 2 or 3 in the morning local time. Other than the guards that have just come on duty, everybody else is having a hard time keeping their eyes open. I mean, you guys are a little sleepy by this point, but the natives especially seem to be having a hard time. But primitive culture, more than likely they're used to sleeping when the sun, going to bed when the sun goes down and getting up when it comes up. These 2 tents over here, where your tokens are already stashed. That's where they put you for the evening. One tent has both of the women and Francis. The other tent has the rest of the guys. Francis, you're not sure, but they may not know what gender you are.
I mean, it's all relative.
They seemed pretty leery of you. Where Danru does not look anything, well, none of you look anything like them, but they didn't react overly, they didn't have a strong reaction to anybody else's physical appearance. You, the children, shy away from, it's the impression you get is that you have a predatory look to them. Which truthfully would probably be true of humans that ran into you for the first time too. But anyway.
Yeah, I imagine first contact between humans and Mordecai was interesting.
But they tell you to rest in these tents. The elders will converse amongst themselves a little bit and give you their decision in the morning. Perception checks before you go to bed. Or before you're ushered into the tents. Okay.
I'm taking a nap.
Might actually run into the tent.
Now, Taylor, I have probably got your sheet. I believe I've got your sheet set up.
Oh, what? I didn't even look. I'm so sorry.
Now, since you didn't send me an updated version of your characters, you're level 1, but...
Stuff would still be the same for the rolls, though, pretty much.
Yeah, proficiency haven't changed yet. And, I put the correct hit dice in, but I don't know which hit points are.
Oh, it's a D10, so it'd be a 6 plus the 1 for con.
Yeah, if you took the average.
That'd
Or
be
you can roll.
18,
I'll
but-
let you roll.
No, I'll set it back, don't worry. I'll get you an updated, don't worry.
Okay. Oh, anyway, let's see, perception. Cat did very well. Taylor did very poorly.
I'm taking
Or
a nap.
Denver did very poorly. Adrian did well. Am I missing somebody? No, it's 5. That's right. We're short. We are short a hole. All right, Adrian and Kat. You both noticed that the both your weaponry and the artifacts were put in this tent over here.
Okay.
The stick figures that you see on the board, those are the guards. While there are a couple of sets that seem to be patrolling the perimeter of this tented area, the rest of them kind of huddle close to the fire. You kind of get the impression these guys don't like the dark particularly. Not like they're really afraid, but you're pretty sure they probably have vision on par with regular humans. The guys patrolling are carrying torches. You get the impression they do not see in the dark well.
Okay. And the campfires, any particular, range of feet they cast? Light up?
Oh, goodness. Probably whatever was standard in D&D, but I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
I don't know off the top of my head either.
I think for torches, it's 30 feet. Give or take. If I remember correctly.
Let's see. Campfires. 5E.
I mean, if they're just on the ground, they probably aren't too bright.
Yeah, they're not huge, bonfires or anything.
Might just be like a little bit more than a torch then.
Yeah, we'll go with the 30-foot like a torch. It ain't that big a deal.
I mean, Kat will pass that information on to her bunkmates and, I don't know what we want to do with this information, but if we hear fighting, maybe we'll be able to at least go retrieve our weapons and assist.
Now, let's see. Other than your weaponry, they left you the rest of your equipment. So you got your comms, where you could potentially talk to people in the other tent. You can still contact Jim.
And she throws a comm on to party line everyone else in just so everyone can hear. Except for Jim, just the folks in the other tent.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, Adrian's probably on that PDA working on that translation guide.
I'm looking at soil.
It's good soil. It's not
Pretty
waves.
good soil.
It is good soil. Clearly, this river... this is a pond. This is a lake, not a river. Never mind. It probably doesn't flood all that often.
Lots of really good alien fish poo.
It's nice and silty.
Just pass on the information okay, so our weapons and all the junk that we gathered is in the other tent. You now have that information. Do we want to wait for the elders to figure out what's going on?
I mean, we could.
They haven't had any interest in just murdering us, so I'm okay.
Well, it's
with
probably
it.
because we've been forthright with them. We try to take things back, that'll probably change.
Yep.
It might.
I mean,
I mean,
nobody's
but
trying
we
to run
have to
anywhere
take it
without
back
sleep.
because
I mean, from what I can tell, they all look really tired. Like, monumentally so. Probably staying awake because of us, but if something were to attack them, I'm not sure how much of a fight they could put up. Not in this state.
adrenaline does some stuff to you. So I think if they sound the alarm, we'd have a whole lot of angry people on us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'd have a lot of them for sure. It's hard to do anything when you're exhausted, I know.
It's like, do we all just want to at least get a good night's sleep and see what the morning brings? And
Probably be best, all things considered.
Alright, so y'all want to wait out the... No, wait out the night and see what the jury of elders comes back with the next morning?
Mm-hmm.
And I might as well.
Okay.
we can always call Jim if we need to. They haven't taken our comms,
Okay.
so we can always
True.
just be like, hey, come save our ass, Jim.
Yeah.
And worst comes to worst, we're not exactly carrying any irreplaceable weaponry or gear.
Yeah.
We just go back empty-handed.
That and
you.
honestly, Adrian is his Esper powers are the most dangerous thing he has, not his weaponry, so
Yeah, but they probably don't know that.
yeah. And he's not bringing it up either.
Alright, so, if y'all are going to wait till the next morning,
Mm-hmm.
next morning comes, it's uneventful. Shortly before sunrise, some of you may be awoken by hearing the kind of the hustle and bustle of the morning activities. People getting out. There's restoking the fires. They're starting to cook the breakfast. If you peek out of your tent, there's still guards on duty. Most of the people running around doing the early morning stuff are the women, though. Breakfast is served. You're brought food. You're kind of brought together in front of the elders. We have debated amongst ourselves, spoken of the impressions you left with us, and we have decided that while you have done great damage here, your intentions were merely to expand the knowledge of your people. An admirable goal. While we cannot allow you to leave with any artifacts from the cavern. Just give me just a second. I got a bug crawling across my screen here. Well, we cannot let you leave with any of the artifacts. As long as you promise not to return and repeat your violation, we will allow you to leave. Much as we allowed the previous uh, expedition. Yeah, he'd probably know expedition. Much like we allowed the previous expedition to.
Cat will speak up because she knows probably the tech guys are probably like, damn it, we want the tech stuff. She'll speak up and be like, while I'm not questioning your benevolent and fair judgment, could we perhaps exchange a service or something to expand the knowledge, to bring knowledge of the benefactors back with us, to bring some of that data back with us?
The knowledge that your friends have copied, you may take that with you. We do not begrudge your people the knowledge of the benefactors, but what belongs to the benefactors will remain here until they come back for it.
Could we perhaps take some of the items that you took, or that were taken from us, that we brought up to... Man, I can articulate today. That we could
I've had days like
extract the information from... We'll bring you back both that extracted information and the originals once we extract it.
How long would this extraction take place, and how far away would you be taking these items?
What? Adrian will pipe up and, our vessel could get pretty close. And if it makes you feel any better, I'm the one that's capable of powering the devices. One of you could keep watch over me if it makes you feel any better, and
we don't know
watch
how
what we
long,
do.
We don't know how long it would take to take it out of the thing, though. Like, we'd have to make a server rack and stuff.
Well, I could probably cobble something together. Shouldn't take too terribly long.
Once we powered it in that place, we could access the information fairly quickly. We just didn't know how to read it.
Yeah.
Says you.
Would either of the tech guys know how long it would take to make something that would read the server?
Well, I mean, how long does it look like it's going to make us to copy paste it? And do we have some kind of server we can copy paste it to?
Well, first you've got to rig up something that can interact
Read
with the
that
hard drives
technology.
and actually read the data, period.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, time is a friend right now. Like, we can ask them if they are willing to let us, leave all the stuff to them. It's their stuff, because it is, and come by at a later point to copy it.
Well, I'd need to have something with me so I know if it works.
Well, like, we could...
Does that CNC have any kind of communication ability? Like, could we hook it up to be something we could contact them?
No, it's not that. It's not a
Okay.
communication device.
Actually, since Adrian has seen it, worked on it, and everything, could he use that knowledge to build something that could interact
Potentially.
with the rest of it?
With access to a workshop.
We do have one of those on the ship.
Mm-hmm. So you might be able to jury rig something between you and Holt. It would really depend on whether or not you needed any specialized equipment that was not on the ship.
Yeah. Would the ship be able to land anywhere near the village?
Yeah, there's a few decent landing spots close to the village. You didn't use any of those previously because you were trying to come in, quick and quiet.
Yeah. Adrian would go, well, not sure how well your people would take to it, but our vessel does have a workshop, and studying this piece of technology that your benefactors left behind, I'm pretty sure I could see to cobble something together. that would allow us to transfer the data real quick, and then we could leave everything here so we don't take anything with us except a copy of the knowledge contained within it.
The elders kind of put their heads together.
Cat kind of pipes up. I have no skill in technology. I would offer to stay here as kind of like a token of good faith that we won't leave with your stuff.
The elders are alright with that. You can bring the ship in closer. If you can extract this knowledge here on the planet, they are fine with that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They can't let you take the stuff off world, though.
Yeah, he'll say that. Yeah, that's what I mean. And if it makes you feel better, you could have somebody with me. If anybody potentially wants to see the second level, I could power anything there. And
no, they will enter to carry the items back, but they don't really go in there, and they don't let anybody else go in there, barring true emergency. For example, if you had refused to come out of the cave, they would have eventually gone in after you.
Yeah.
Now, one of the elders and a couple of guards will probably go with you to your ship while you're doing all of this.
Yeah. So, since they allowed it, I guess we can call Jim. I keep wanting to call him Jim now.
I think that is his name.
Jim Riley.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I guess we can call Jim and have him land by the village.
Well, he's glad to hear from y'all again. You went quiet that night. Glad to know you weren't murdered in your sleep.
Yeah,
or
we're fine.
Or in cannibal cooking pots or any of that kind of jazz.
No, we're fine. Some of them actually speak common, and we've worked out a deal that you're allowed to land close by, and as long as some of them come with us on the ship while I work on cobbling together something to transfer all the knowledge we can out of those ruins, they'll leave us be mostly.
You're like, okay, yeah, I can get you kind of suss out what clearing it is he needs to land on.
Yeah.
Once he's landed and you go onto the ship, he looks less than happy to have the natives on board. He keeps a wrench in his hand at all times.
Yeah. Adrian's making a beeline right for the workshop so he can get started.
All right. Let's see. You're trying to access unfamiliar technology.
To a point, he does have something to work with the pad that was left behind.
That is true. So give me a... Let's see... Mechanics or computer?
I'll say that, and anything that he's analyzed, he also has a basic understanding of how their technology works at this point. Up to a point.
I would call this one mechanics, because you're trying to build a device that will let you interact.
Sure.
And whole...
Mechanics. That's the wisdom one, I believe. So yes. I will.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what I used. It
19.
may have been handle animal that I was thinking of using.
Yeah, that's the one I've been using. I just gave myself proficiency in animal handling, and that's my mechanics.
Oh. No, that's right. It wasn't your sheet I put in. It was somebody else's. But
yeah.
All right, and we will give Hull a roll to help you.
Okay.
Let's see. Computers was intellect. Yeah, mechanics was wisdom.
I think his is actually higher than mine. I think he has like a +5 to that one instead of a +3.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, that's right. I tried to put his in with the tools thing. Alright, so he got a 12. That ain't great.
Yeah. I got a 19, though.
Okay. So you spend about a day and a half. Because what the interface that will work with the hard drives from the robots doesn't work with the servers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a similar setup because you're dealing with the same basic kind of technology, but
yeah.
But after about a day and a half, you manage to get something fairly, working fairly decent.
Sweet.
Now the hard drives you had taken. Well, give me a computer use
Both
roll.
of them.
Give me a computer use roll for these.
Okay.
Again, I will have Hull help you.
14.
And he has got his Arcana for his computers.
Yeah. I have my Arcana as lore, but... So, 14 and 15. Unless we're running with the advantage rules for assistance, then I could roll it again.
Oh, that's right. I'm doing assistance like Pathfinder and 3.5. Yeah, just go ahead and roll it again then. Just roll with advantage.
Alright. Yeah, 14.
Is what I get for playing with every variety of these rules at the same time.
God, don't I know it.
Just wrapped up a 5e D&D game. I'm running Starfinder.
Yeah.
I'm in a Pathfinder game, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we will probably stick with your 14.
Okay. Unless we want to go with his 17. Either or.
Well, if he's assisting you...
True.
Alright, now what was I... Oh, there it is. Okay, the server rack that Hull had, most of the data is corrupt on it.
Okay.
You manage to get bits and pieces of some stuff, like an early survey of the planet. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
You do get the coordinates for the crucible they used to come in. It is the same crucible that you used.
Alright. Anything special about the hard drives?
Hang on just a second.
Okay,
the server rack you had was in pretty decent shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of random, or not random, but it's a lot of the information they were using on their genetic study of the local flora and fauna, a full genetic write-up of the natives.
Okay.
A fairly complete list of the tweaks they made to the natives.
Alright.
Mostly stuff where they could breathe the atmosphere a little better. They added some pigment to them because this planet gets a little more ultraviolet, light from their sun, so there's a little more
Right.
radiation.
And being Promethean, this is stuff that he would understand pretty well.
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
It is obvious to you at a glance that they were tweaking. They weren't really trying to soup them up or really even make them better per se. Just trying to adapt them to fit to this world.
Right.
In most cases, it was adaptations that they would that over a couple 100,000 years they would probably have developed anyway.
Mm-hmm. They just charged the process.
Other than the being able to breathe the atmosphere, that was one that was probably required.
Right. Would they be allowed to go back and get the other server racks too and make a copy?
They are not going to let you back into the... you can ask, but they're not going to let you back into the ruin.
Okay.
You get the impression that they're kind of just letting you fool with this stuff is kind of stretching. What they consider to be their duties and all.
Right.
But they are kind of like you were saying. They're very interested in their history. The majority of their history is oral.
Right.
And they understand how things can change slightly and drift a bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, seeing that, then Adrian will say, well, I know you just letting me mess with this is stretching it, but if I can go back, I could potentially pull more data, and you could find out more about your history that way.
While we would appreciate more knowledge, our tribe here has a duty to protect the sanctity of the benefactor's residence.
Well, I'd be sure to put it all back. I mean, we're going to anyway, or you are. I don't know. Who will be putting this back, us or you?
It will be some of our people.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it'd still be going back.
I am sorry, friend. We have a duty to the benefactors themselves, as well as the other tribes of our people on this world, who have entrusted us with protecting the legacy of the benefactors.
Mm.
And the distant cat's like, "Don't get a shot."
What? I can't hear you.
I think she said shoot one of them.
Why would I do that?
Establish dominance.
No.
Yeah, well, alright. The researcher in me would hate to leave that information, but I mean, I kind of get it.
Let's see, what else do you get?
What's the robot head hard drive, or the...
Yeah, the
benefactor
2 hard drives.
Oh, yes. The one from the cannibalized robot does not appear to be working at all.
Okay.
It seems to have had some sort of catastrophic failure. It may be
fuck.
the initial damage that caused it to start, that caused it to start being used for parts.
Mm.
The other one you get, it has suffered some damage from power surges when you killed it, basically.
Yeah.
But you get the basic programming of the thing. The programming language is quite complex. What it's programmed to do is relatively simple.
Uh-huh.
Prevent thefts, anything that got into the lower level that was not one of the benefactors or one of the probably shouldn't call them native peoples anymore, but beneficiaries we'll call them. Was to be driven out.
Why would they not be natives?
Well, at the time this thing was programmed, they really wouldn't have been considered natives.
If they're the first people to live here, they become the natives.
Fair enough. We'll keep calling them natives then. But basically, the robot was programmed not to attack any benefactors or any of these people if they weren't, doing significant damage or stealing massive, amounts of things.
Mm.
And it would recognize individuals. It would recognize ranks. So the commander could walk by and go, "Yeah, we're taking this," that kind of thing. It has a very long memory, I guess you'd say. When things are quiet, it goes into kind of a semi-hibernation mode.
Mm-hmm.
But you powering up the doors woke it up. The previous guys made enough noise prying the doors open and so forth that it woke it up. It was capable of powering the doors enough to get them to open or shut. Which is why when the previous expedition left with the doors open, the doors were closed when you got here.
Okay.
It has the... Looking back over its logs, you see where it began cannibalizing because it had some self-repair subroutines and, it knew what to do with parts.
Mm-hmm.
So when the other one went down, it immediately classified it as, a resource.
Okay.
Running back through the log, you get to the last day that it remembers seeing any benefactors. And this was the same day as when you were searching the computers last week, you found a date that reoccurred throughout the system.
Mm-hmm.
That it was like the last date there was any interaction with the computer system. It clearly kept running for a while, but this was the last date that anybody did anything with it.
Uh-huh.
These dates match up.
Okay. Did it have any, recordings of what happened?
Sorry, I got distracted by the Twitch chat. What now?
Did it save any recordings of what happened? Like a video log? Or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
It ended its nightly patrols as the not crew, because this is not a ship, but
Researchers?
yeah, thank you.
Staff?
Staff, that's probably more the word I was looking for. But yeah, that's the last I remember seeing anybody, the staff was getting up. They were packing things up, and then it went to its little closet. If you remember that last room, it had kind of a big storage closet, which is basically where it stood during the day, unless there was a specific need for it.
Okay. Alrighty. He's probably got a massive amount of data to sift through now.
There is quite a bit. I'm just giving you the highlights of what you could pick out quickly.
Yeah. He's literally going to be spending the entire rest of the trip doing this, sifting through all the data. But he will then hand the stuff back to them. Okay. He'll take the data pad that he had fixed up, and he will make a copy of the copies.
Okay.
And he will literally transfer the second copy, all of it, onto there.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, yeah, here's all of the history you let me get, as thanks for, not killing us.
They're glad it did not come to violence. You seem like decent enough folk.
I just like to learn things, honestly.
During your time as playing as a token of goodwill, and we're not stealing your shit, Kat would be like, is there anything we can offer you? Is there anyone ill that we might be able to help? Something like that.
No. We have two very skilled healers here in the village.
Okay. Then she would probably just spend her time, if they would, give her any information as far as, telling her the lore of the benefactors and stuff like that. Don't have to, lore dump me or anything, but that's what she would spend her time doing, trying to...
It's pretty basic, what they told you about the benefactors, getting them adjusted to or changing them where they could fit in here,
Okay.
and how quickly
Yeah.
they disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Francis and Jade, what have you been doing?
I've basically been trying to stay as far out of the way of the people who were giving me the stink eye as I possibly could, and trying to keep Jade out of trouble.
I'm people watching.
It's basically what you would think of any tribal society. Give me a perception check. That would be the... Yeah, perception.
Ouch.
Yeah, you know, primitive people, that's about what you expect, you know, cooking on campfires. Not really sterilizing a lot of stuff, you know, bandages and stuff. On the plus side, they do seem to wash pretty regular, so, you know, there's at least that. Francis, give me
Small
a
favors.
perception.
Ouch.
Never mind. You're trying to avoid everybody. A few of the bolder little kids take to, like, sneaking around the tents. They're kind of peeking at you. And then running away giggling if you look in their direction.
I start playing into it, just sort of leaning forward and making a scary face at him.
Jade pops him
Ow!
back of the head.
Why?
You managed to only make one child cry doing that. Most of them are kind of into it. You slowly piece together that there is a large lizard-like predator on this planet. You know, something like a horned monitor. You know, it's like a monitor lizard, but with horns. You know,
Dragon.
It's not native to this area per se, but stories of it have gotten around. You know, it'd be like if you had a lion man walking around. You know, here in the U.S., but we don't have lions, but we know what they are. We'd look at somebody that looked like a lion, kind of funny.
Just wait till July in Final Fantasy XIV. Everybody's gonna be a lion man.
Man, I haven't played one of them things since 7.
I will be right back.
Okay.
She's about to go make one right now. I'm kidding.
Let's see. Danru, what have you been doing in camp?
I'm looking at the soil, asking them if I can, if I can carry one seed of their different foodstuffs to study.
They have absolutely no problem with that. One of the elders even starts telling you, this is a plant that we brought native from our world that the benefactors adjusted for us, and these are native ones that were native here that we have cultivated.
And Danru will start taking notes.
She breaks down some of the changes that they have made to some of the natives just by, selective breeding and stuff. Kind of like how we took maize and turned it into corn kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's right, your guy's a farmer at heart, isn't he?
Yep. I love me some things that grow from dirt.
Give me a perception check. Man, you are awesome. Unobservant.
Mm.
You're bored.
Dumps.
There's nothing but trees and dirt here. It's awful. Need some Wi-Fi.
You're complaining and thinking it's awful. You look over, and Danru and like the, gardener elder are practically arm in arm skipping around as she's showing you different stuff. You quickly find out that this is not the entire village. You have several of these little circular setups kind of all along this lake. That while they're kind of little independent somethings, they're also all the same tribe. This happens to be the one closest to the ruins is the one that the majority of the elders stay at. Where the other little encampments will have 1 or 2 elders apiece. Alright, so you've exchanged information with him. Once you return the things, they take everything. They load it up on sort of a stretcher that they, then carry on their shoulders. And with 1 or 2 elders leading them, it's a bunch of the younger guys that, end up carrying the stuff back up. Is there anything else you wish to talk to the natives about or do while you're here on CDL 113?
I kind of feel like Jade would show off her guns. And definitely her knife, because they don't have metal.
Oh no, they're an Iron Age society.
I thought they were stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're iron.
Damn it.
Yeah, they're just getting into, they've got metal spear tips, metal arrowheads, mixed in with some stone arrowheads. There's still some of them using flint. I don't know about this newfangled, metallurgy.
I'll say, before they do leave, Adrian will approach the elders that are leaving with the stuff. And he'll say, all that came from the 2nd floor. Will you need me to open the door for you?
We'll manage. Thank you. And did you shut the door behind you?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
He sealed it shut, actually.
They seem to be fairly certain one of their elders can get it open.
Alright.
Cat will make one last offer of, do you need us to do anything in exchange for the kindness you've given us? I mean, we understand you didn't have to do any of this. We just want to help.
Can we teach him about sanitizing bandages?
Yeah, can we teach them about stuff like that? Can we upload some of that information onto their datapad?
Yeah, you could. And their response to you is basically that you have shared a great deal of information with them. Some of it is new knowledge, some of it is knowledge they lost, some of it's just, history. So, that is thanks enough. And you get the impression that they know disease grows in filth. So, they weren't putting filthy bandages on, but they weren't exactly boiling it to kill stuff either.
Yeah, see, noting their Iron Age tech and stuff, Adrian will leave a separate file of, medical practices of a similar sort of age, I suppose.
Okay.
How to make bronze.
Basically, it's not quite. It's more of it's not so much him making an attempt to uplift the society, as it were. It's more of giving them some things that they might not know that is of equivalent technological advancement to them.
You're not so much advancing them as you are filling out their knowledge.
Yeah.
I noticed you got tents. Here's how you make Adobe.
Yeah. Pretty much stuff like that. He'll explain it, and this is some of the stuff from our civilization that when we went through about the same, technological advancement as you, and some stuff you might know, some stuff you might not. And he'll you're an interesting people. I mean, the whole my kind, mine and Cat's here, and he'll gesture to Cat. We're known as Prometheans, and we actually went through a similar process as you. Our bodies were genetically modified in order to better adapt to where we live. So this is fascinating to me, honestly.
They kind of perk up at that. They talk to you a little bit about it, and it becomes clear pretty quick that they can't really tell the difference between you, Cat, and Jade. I mean, your coloration is a little different, but
Yeah.
their people have varying colorations in different parts of the world too. So,
But yeah, he's still like whatever knowledge they want to give, he'll make a copy of a note and all that, and he'll explain the things that he shares with them, like how to make like sturdier tents and then what they might have, or like some basic like sanitizing things that they would be able to do with their current level of advancement, stuff like that.
The medical stuff they're very interested in. They don't need it here in this village because of their healers, but elsewhere in other parts of the world where there's not the concentration of how would you put it? They have some that are touched by the benefactors, or at least that's what they call it. They can do things that others cannot do.
Yeah.
The ones closer to the tribes closer to the ruins generally have a stronger concentration of these sorts of people. Not because they're close to the ruins, but they go out of their way to, how would you put it? To intermarry, families that produce this.
Yeah.
You slowly piece together that some of these people may be espers.
Alrighty.
Which backs up the theory that it was a crucible that may have caused the damage on their world.
Yeah, he'll make note of that. And
having said that, you all utterly failed your perception check, so nobody actually saw any of the healers healing anybody.
Let's see, I wasn't there, so I couldn't have made that check.
Yeah,
I was
all the rest of
most of my time was in the ship.
It's all the rest of them. It's their fault.
Yeah.
I was looking at dirt. You can't blame me.
Taking a roll on it.
I can blame you all I want to, son.
I was making sure Francis didn't get put on a spit for being a jackass.
And I was trying to make sure you didn't get into a fist fight. Again.
So anyway, as that all wraps up, you have been on this world 4 or 5 days, probably.
Yeah.
The day marching, the day after the trial, a couple of days working on all the information. So, the techie guys are probably ready to get back to civilization.
Yeah.
Even though they have found some fascinating stuff. Kat, who clearly does not, or not Kat, Jade, who clearly does not like camping, is definitely ready to get back.
Cat totally ready to get back to civilization too.
I mean, yeah, Adrian, for the most part, is completely submersed in, and as well as with the whole translation guide of everything that he's learned, because he's gotten all of this info from those servers and the hard drive that he's currently translating and putting together too. He's also got all of that info to sift through. So he's happy as can be, really.
Let's see, it looks like Hole would be too, because he is easily distracted by the promise of new scientific discoveries.
Yeah.
That is probably something y'all share.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
that
you
is
may have
literally
discussed it last week that was something y'all had in common.
I think they have the same quirk.
They have the same flaw, yeah. They're both easily distracted by the promise of new technology.
Oh, well, at least not easily distracted by the internet. That is somebody else in this game in another campaign I'm running.
Yeah.
With her awareness of one.
Uh-huh.
Anyway. So y'all load back up in the roustabout. Jim is ready to get gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's glad you made friends. But given the reports he's read on how they reacted to the previous expedition, he just isn't trusting him.
Yeah.
You get the impression there may be a story behind that maybe he's run afoul of some native folk before.
Yeah.
Would any of us had remembered an episode where Jim did something like that?
That's a good question.
You can remember a couple of episodes that involved Jim quickly running from somebody. And one that you're pretty sure involved him catching an arrow to the backside.
Oh my!
They didn't show that in great detail because by that point
Kid
the
show.
show was being aimed more and more at children, so they were trying to cut the violence down. Parents.
Yeah.
But and he's pretty much stayed on the ship, so he's ready to get back somewhere where he can go stretch his legs a little more.
Yeah.
Without the worry of being eaten by something.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you load him in the roustabout. And you head back out.
Yep.
Now it's time to go talk to our benefactor, who will be only a little disappointed we brought nothing for him.
Only a little.
Adrian just turns, looks at him and said, "Nothing?" And he literally gestures to probably like the 5 screens completely full of info and knowledge that he's currently sifting through.
Oh, that's
Are you
great,
sure
but
about that?
Not what we were asked to retrieve.
You're talking to me about the man who probably just wants trinkets. He'll love the information. He wanted something to show off.
Something that belongs in a museum.
He wanted something physical and tangible to put on a pedestal so other people can be amazed.
Yeah, we'll deal with that later. He goes back to the computer.
Maybe you'll still get paid.
But probably not.
If not, I'm sure there's other people that like information.
True.
Oh, here we go. Starships and space travel. Alright, as you are leaving the system... Come on now, there's got to be something on here about sensors. Piloting, gunnery... Who would be likely to be manning the sensors on the ship on the way out?
I think Adrian was doing that. Not sure if he would be now, considering he's spending a lot of his time dealing with all that info.
That's true. I'll give a computer use roll for Hull. As you're approaching the kind of the outer edge of the system, Hull notifies you that he's detecting a ship out there.
Is it a good ship or a bad ship?
Let's see, where's it parked?
It's outside the edge of the solar system. So, like, the path you're taking, it would be kind of over here. You're not going to intersect with it or anything. It's kind of here. You're just going to kind of shoot up. Probably won't come within 500, kilometers of it.
Anything we can duck behind to like obscure either, well, not line of sight, but like sensor line of sight?
Well, I can...
There is a way to mask your drive signal, but that usually involves coming up behind it.
And if all else fails, I have some tricks up my sleeve that'll make us very hard to track and hit.
A ship moving at intercept speeds can attempt to hide from short-range sensors by masking its drive signature. The ship's technician can attempt this by making a wisdom mechanics roll. The result
That'd
is
be
DC
Hull,
required to spot the marked ship with an opposed wisdom perception check. Alright, so Hull would make a mechanics. And I said his mechanics was... Oh, that's right, I put it down here. Looks like he rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Nope, they definitely see you.
Well, fuck.
They begin moving in your direction. Not at
Adrian.
an alarming speed, but you know.
As Adrian will pull out a piece of tech and is currently tapping on it and priming it.
Hull tells you, as they get closer, Hull tells you there's, they're doing a very intensive scan of your ship. You know, he doesn't have any idea what they're looking for, but you know, whatever it is, if you've got it on this ship, they're probably going to find it.
We should get out of here.
Those are some heavy-duty military-grade sensors. They have, however, made no attempt to hail you yet.
And Adrian is suddenly very glad that everything regarding this race is not actually on the ship's database.
Well, now, the sensors wouldn't be able to read what's on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, while it probably wouldn't be sensitive enough to pick up, you know, handheld weapons or anything, they're going to know exactly what your ship's armed with. You know, if you had a cargo hold full of explosives or gold or, you know...
Ancient artifacts.
Whatever.
That-
you know. That's one example,
we-
I guess.
Let's say that we don't have.
Exactly.
And after about a minute of this intense scanning, the ship just kind of peels away from you and heads off on its own. Hull asks, do you want me to hail him?
No.
Let's just head home.
I get a ship that's waiting at the edge of the system, pulling up with what I can very clearly tell is heavy-duty military-grade sensors to detect even the most minute of things that conveniently happens to show up in a system that we happen to recently find that there is an entire magic laboratory from these entire research lab from these people. Let's not push our luck.
Oh, it's just coincidence.
I don't believe in that.
Or happenstance, excuse me. This is just happenstance.
I don't believe in that either.
Let me see. Your ship is probably... I'm not sure if the roustabout would be a light freighter or a heavy freighter by the standards.
I think you said it was a civilian-grade gunship.
Well, you've got the civilian model, though, which was converted to be more of a freighter.
Yeah.
It's either medium or large in a... You know, in the ship scale. This thing, the one that scanned you, would be huge. Which would be like a mining ship, a battle cruiser, or a medical ship.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, no. Let's not push our luck. They're leaving us alone, so let's leave them alone.
Now, at a glance, it did not look like it was a full-scale battleship. It's just that size.
Mm-hmm.
While there was clearly some visible armaments, you know. And it clearly had, you know, like I said, the sensors were clearly military grade. It was not a military ship. It was just roughly that size. Luckily, though, it seems to have no interest in you.
Yeah, so let's get out of here because it has no interest in us. Jim!
We're booking it.
Thank you.
And he throws up into full speed.
Let's moon him.
Let's not.
Port, you know, not portcullis, no, porthole, is that what they call the little windows on boats?
Yeah.
Basically goes, the window's over there, you know, when you go moon them. Window's over there.
She actually doesn't.
Neither does Jade.
Hull also mentions to you that it did not have a transponder. Where normally ships kind of transmit their name and some basic information.
Yeah, Adrian is definitely like, let's leave them alone.
I know that would be
Get away from the pirates.
that would
so
be
did it have-
illegal in some areas. Though this is a fairly lawless. Nobody's really got this area claimed, so.
Mhm.
Did the scanners pick up anything distinguishing about its features? Like, did it have some kind of insignia on the side or anything?
It did not. Did not have a name print on the side. Did not have a noticeable insignia.
No number, no. Okay. No bumper sticker like my kid is an honor student at Galactic.
Nope.
Okay.
No sign saying we shoot grave robbers on side or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's all.
First off, would you really call that grave robbing? It wasn't their graves.
Fair point.
I mean, lab robbers, sure. But grave,
Pillaging.
no.
Yeah,
No, let's not say
Yeah.
pillaging is worse than robbing.
but yeah, once all that's done, Adrian's gonna go back to doing his thing with all of that data.
Okay. One thing you're able to do on the journey back is you start to put together a pronunciation guide.
Oh, cool.
Because some of the information you've got is actually like video.
Uh-huh.
So you've got them talking and the computer transcribing what they've said. You know, it's not perfect. But you're starting to piece together some of the language.
Is it enough to get a basic proficiency in the language?
Not yet.
Okay, he's gonna keep working on that then.
Okay. Because there's a lot of raw data to go through.
Yeah, he's gonna do he's not gonna turn over the copy. He's gonna make a copy of the copy.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
keeping a copy of everything for himself.
So you slowly make it back
Mm-hmm.
to the station you started at.
Do we stop by Space McDonald's?
You have food on the ship.
It's not the
But
same.
McDonald's.
But McDonald's.
Does the Space McDonald's ice cream machine still not work?
The space flare machine broke.
Didn't
Space
y'all
Flare machine's
end up
always
shooting
broke.
the space McDonald's thing? Kiosk?
I think we did.
Did it? I
So
believe it
was
set on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, hold on.
All that grease was burned.
No, wait, one of us did shoot it.
I was like,
It was a missed shot from, I think, Francis? Maybe Jade? I forget.
You're pointing a lot of fingers. Pretty sure.
we'll blame Francis.
Pointing a lot of fingers. And it was on fire. It was a big fire.
So Francis
smelled
did it.
delicious.
It's been put to a vote, and Francis is to blame.
Yeah. It's the reason we can't have Space McFlurries.
It's
So
okay, I
considering
was
the ice
only going to
cream was
order.
literally burning, you don't know if you really wanted to eat that stuff or not.
Make Alaska.
So anyway, you get back to the station. Let's see. As soon as you dock, Jim starts taking care of all the paperwork for docking, and doing whatever maintenance might need to be done on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
You quickly make your way back to Achilles,
I'll
or Achilles rather.
go ahead and give Ashiel a call. Just be like, hey, you're going to be impressed and disappointed in us.
Very interested in what you have to say, and feeling a little trepidation about it.
Everything went fine.
Uh-huh.
it's- Oh,
No one was murdered.
Well, that's good.
Not for lack of trying.
I didn't want to lose any of you, and I assume that means there was no confrontation with the natives.
Define
That you
confrontation.
were just in and out.
there was a negotiation with the natives.
It went pretty well, all things considered.
I was under the impression the natives would not negotiate where the artifacts were concerned.
Like we're having this whole conversation as we're walking there, it sounds like.
You know what? Just let's not do this over open channels.
Yeah.
Just swing by the manor, and I'll have Basil let you in.
Ah,
So you arrive. Basil greets you. Oh, I'm glad to see you were all back and fit as fiddles. I'd heard
Yeah.
the natives could be a little restless on that world.
they actually speak the common tongue, so...
Oh,
Well,
that's
some
very
of them
good.
do.
Well, there had been a couple of previous expeditions, as I recall. So
Hmm,
This was like way before the expedition, so.
yeah...
All right,
somebody
let's
got
sit
a
down.
cat close to their.
Yeah, I hear a
I'm
cat.
not complaining. It's just I wanted to make sure that's actually what that was.
It's pancake.
But
It is.
so you're ushered in. Basil brings out some food. It's not the full 4-course meal kind of thing that you had the last time you were here because short notice, but it's more kind of snacky finger foods kind of stuff. As soon as you walk in, Achilles jumps up and walks over, and he greets you. He's kind of giving you all the looking over at him, like he's checking you out to make sure you're okay. So, what have you
Yeah.
found for me that I'll be excited about, and what am I going to be disappointed by?
Well, we found out what the light was.
Oh, what was it? Was it a
It
working
was a
piece of the
defensive-
technology?
It was a defensive robot that began attacking us.
Oh. And you're all here, and all your body parts are accounted for.
It's...
So what happened to the
Isn't.
robot?
It was an old defensive robot.
That was cannibalizing the other one for parts that we had to put down.
Oh, a
That
functioning
the
robot. That would have been
natives
wonderful.
were. That the natives were rather fond of.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Well, the
basically-
natives knew of it.
Yeah.
yeah, and part of the deal that we had to broker for us to be able to leave was that every piece of physical evidence had to be given back.
But. And she like points at the tech boys.
Adrian will then pull out another data pad. But everything data-wise,
Yeah,
We-
all the work they were
they-
doing inside
they-
that place,
yeah, they
along
did-
with copies of
Mhm.
pictures. So there is,
Yeah.
we do know what they looked like now.
Oh.
uh-huh. And
that's
as
great.
well as a lot of personal journals and research notes
Genetic
and
breakdown of the current native species or native race.
them too.
He
where
doesn't seem
that
super
race-
interested in that part.
Where that race originally came from, what, as they call the benefactors, who are these people, did to them to genetically modify them so they could live on this planet.
Might
So
have been a
the-
crucible nearby.
So the natives
Yeah,
are
it-
native.
It was a crucible, actually. The notes did confirm that. Also, this might be of interest to you, and he will literally pull out, like, he'll point out on the data pad where there's this probably gigantic file. This is a translation and pronunciation guide for their language.
Oh, my boy. And he grabs you by the shoulder. That is phenomenal work.
Yeah,
He
kind
starts
of
flipping through it.
I kind of can instinctively read anything I see, regardless of the language. So
Oh yes, I've heard. I've met others with the similar abilities.
yeah,
Since I was
so
flipping
you
through
know,
there.
here it is.
Oh yes.
I've been working on making myself proficient in speaking and reading and writing the language myself, so that shouldn't take me too terribly long.
So what is the species called?
Well, as far as we know, the only thing that we know is in their own language, their species means it's like the one. I think you said that.
Yeah, the one race or the one people or
Yeah. Okay. It says it's like it changes based on the phonetics, but it's the one people, the one race, the one. It's kind of what their name means.
And Danner will perk up at that, which is oddly, concerning considering they could do genetic alteration.
Mm-hmm. And the now native people call them the benefactors. And from what I can tell, from what knowledge I was able to pull out of there, it seems like there is confirmation of a sort that these people were the ones that built the crucibles.
he just stops and looks at you. Are you certain? The relic,
yeah.
the
And
the
he'll
artifacts I
flip
find of these
through it.
people go back quite a bit further than any currently living species, but not as far back as we think the crucibles go.
He'll flip through it and point it out and saying that it was something. I believe what you said it was one of their things that they made that started to not work correctly, so they pulled the people off of that planet.
Well, no.
The
I think that's
crucible,
what you
the
said.
crucible activated, but something was wrong when it activated, and it began bathing
And
the
that
planet in
activation
energy.
showed
okay.
up on the benefactor's sensors.
That is not completely unheard of.
Okay,
A defunct,
I understood that wrong.
A defunct crucible can't be jumped to. When they go active, they're connected to all the other crucibles, so then it becomes possible to find them.
Okay, so
Now, that being
ignore what I
said-
just said there then, because I understood you
Oh, no
incorrectly.
problem, no problem.
That being said, though, we do have the possible directions to 2 other crucibles, both the non-functional one and sort of a general area of where the other one that they jumped to was.
I mean, it's not a possible one. It's right here. he'll point to the coordinates because you did mention that I did find the coordinates.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So he'll go. It's not just possible. He'll pull up a galaxy map. He says it's right there.
Well, it could be right there. It could get destroyed. We don't know.
Well, that's
I
where
want to leave it as a possible so we don't send a ship without proper supplies.
that's where the location last recorded is.
Yeah.
That's
He runs them through his computer. He had the like I said, they came out of the same crucible that y'all used. That was closest to CDL 113.
yeah.
And the other one, yeah, he pulls that up, and it's not a thoroughly explored area. He's not sure. Well, he's really not sure what's there. According to just the quick little search he did, there's not a known crucible in that area. But it could just be undiscovered by anybody current.
Is there
It
a
also-
record of previous crucibles, like crucibles that had been destroyed, that we would have access to?
Off the top of my head, I don't know if there have been destroyed crucibles or not. It stands to reason, but I can't remember reading anything in the material about it yet.
Okay.
If I run across something before next week,
yeah.
I will retcon and let y'all know.
Yeah, he'll comment that. It also should be worth noting that as we were leaving the system, there was another ship waiting that scanned us with military-grade hardware.
Huh. Any idea
That
what
was
they're
the
looking for?
size of a battleship.
No name, no number, not broadcasting any information about themselves.
Didn't attempt to hail us, and When it did not find what it wanted to find, it simply left.
Did you hail them by any chance?
That thing was the size of a battleship.
Seems like that'd be a good reason to be polite and say hi.
It seems like it'd be a good reason to get the fuck out when they decided to leave us alone.
Fair enough.
could've-
Achilles like,
they-
fair enough.
They could have hailed us too.
But there's plenty of ships the size of battleships that aren't battleships, so...
Yes, but it was very.
Just
It was
a ship,
visibly. It was visibly very armored and armed,
I wonder if
It
it
was
could have
And-
been
a
a
ship
ship.
with guns,
It
much
was
larger
tricky.
than us.
and it also was broadcasting nothing. Like I told them before, considering what happened last time, we ran into random things that just happened to coincidentally happen when something else of these benefactors' tech happened to be around. I honestly didn't want to take the chance that this battleship-sized, heavily armed and armored vessel would be of the like. They were looking for something, and they were looking for something very intently.
You make a valid point there.
I'm sure if they wanted us to talk to them, they would have talked to us first. Or shot.
Most likely.
One of the.
I'll have
Yeah.
Jim send me a copy of the scans you made of that ship and see if I can identify, or see if any acquaintances of mine can identify maybe what make and model, where it might have come from.
Yeah.
Well, I was wanting a piece of working technology, but the knowledge you brought me is phenomenal.
Well, I figured it was better than. I mean, I'm surprised they let us get away with that, all things considered.
Yes, you must have really wooed them. You must have really wowed them in some way.
I think it was just because we were straightforward and honest with them. We weren't trying to bullshit them in any way.
A lot of
And I-
primitive cultures appreciate that. I mean, a lot of people
wait.
appreciate. A lot of
Some
people
other
appreciate
tech,
that period,
too.
but
Danru perks up. Wait a minute. He looks towards the lizard. We do have something.
Oh, look at the. Yeah!
Oh,
the
what's
prayer rug.
We do, yeah.
Technology.
Achilles,
I
when he
know.
sees everybody staring at Francis, Achilles turns to Francis. Francis, is there something you'd like to share with the class?
Oh yeah, I got these really cool mandibles, and he just pulls out the mandibles, carved off the bug. Neat, huh?
Yeah, it is interesting.
Please pull out the tiny slice
Those,
of rug you
those
stole.
are big ones, but hardly a woodring.
Fine. And he pulls out the vacuum sealed little sample of fabric.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it's
Part of a rug.
it's just part of a rug.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah, but it did. He did manage to convince them that it was his, and it did belong to this race.
It's held up for a really long time, and I figure there's a handful of pullover companies that would probably be interested in taking a look at it, and they drop a pretty cruel for it.
Achilles kind of takes it and looks at it. It's a little fragile now, but if it's as old as most of the relics I've seen or ruins I've seen of these people, yeah, it would be some pretty sturdy stuff. I'll have some of my boys examine it. Break down the chemical composition and try to figure out how it's made.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
If it comes out any kind of usable patents we can get off of it or whatever, your names will be on there as well as the guys doing the research.
If it
Carpet
also,
tycoons.
Agent Pop Pipe was. Also, if it'll help, our friend Hull here did take the video evidence of the entire trip.
Oh, he'll definitely download that then.
Yeah, you can see the murder bot attacking us.
You
We
can
did try
see
to
I had my-
negotiate.
You can see
Yeah.
I had my hands up, surrendering to it when it fired first.
Yeah, that's true.
He starts cross-referencing what the robot said to you with what you've got of the language set up so far.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get a complete translation, but the general impression is that it was basically saying, get out.
Yeah.
More politely, there was more to it than that. It was probably something more along the lines of, you are unauthorized. Please vacate the premises.
Yeah. Yeah, Adrian will pipe up with, apparently it was programmed to detect if anything entered that was not of these benefactors or the benefactees. And it was programmed to make them leave by force if necessary.
Well, that's what a security droid would do. So.
Yeah,
What we could to have gotten a working robot.
Yeah, I don't think that would have helped.
Oh, it would help immensely. It would just have been, extremely difficult to get a combat droid. And, a completely unknown computer code trying to rewrite, not feasible, but it would have been great.
Well, we have the code.
That is true. Adrian does have its entire coding. Adrian will go.
It would take you a little while to reverse engineer the entire language, but you were able to figure out kind of what it does.
Yeah, Adrian will pop in. Well, if you mention its coding, I do have its entire coding.
And the tech boys here scanned everything short of the floor down there.
Oh, I did that too.
I'm pretty sure they got the floor
I was
too.
about to say, why didn't they scan the floor?
No, I scanned the floor too.
Yeah. They were very thorough.
Mm.
Extremely thorough. Possibly too thorough.
You can never be too thorough.
No, you can be too thorough.
No, you can't.
There was enough time for 50 to 60 people to surround the place and be waiting outside as a welcoming committee. There's too thorough.
And yet we still managed to completely talk our way out of it with no blows being thrown. We got a massive amount of data for our trouble. And we also got a pretty sizable chunk of their ecology. And he'll look right at Andrew.
Sup? I got seed samples of everything they grow for food.
No, Achilles like, oh, that's neat.
It's what
Much dirt.
I'm a farmer by trade. I like studying soil.
Oh, I see, yes.
This was more of a personal thing, but obviously information to share is information to share.
Oh, yes, by all means, he'll download whatever information you got on it. The seeds themselves you can keep. While he respects farmers, he is not much of a gardener himself. Let's see. Where to take the? He's sitting there. He continues to talk about the trip. He asks just a few things about how the trip was, yada yada yada. About the mandibles and your fight. How he misses the good old days when he was out there, getting in the rough and tumble with, various fauna. He misses it. But he's too old, so, at some point you have to accept you just can't do what you used to do. Now, he's like, we've got to decide how to continue the investigation. I don't have any more immediate leads on any more of their tech.
Do you have any of their writing?
I do not. Pretty much all the writing you got was from the computers, other than the sample trays were labeled.
No. He's asking if Achilles has from any previous things. If he
other
has
artifacts of the similar tongue.
Nothing useful. There's a few other things where maybe something was labeled. Maybe a button had a word on it. Which will give you access to that information where you can add it to the codex you're making of their language.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing jumps out at you. he has found very little useful information about these people. Artifacts, period, are few and far between, and none of them have been functioning.
Was that artifact that the courier was carrying tied to this race?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, Kelly, did they ever finish up that investigation? Get you that artifact back?
Let's see, up and gone for less than a week.
At least 5 days, because it took.
You were on planet for 5 days, so you've been gone a little over a week.
More than a week, 'cause I think you said it took at least 7 days to get just to the planet.
Yeah. Oh, that's
We've been gone for almost a month.
It took you a couple days to get to the next system with the Crucible, and then you instantly jumped to the Crucible close by, and then you're right. It's probably been closer to a month.
3 weeks. Yeah.
So yes, they have wrapped up the investigation. It's not considered closed because they haven't really figured anything out. These were two not ultra rich, but pretty well off fellows. They were known for going kind of cruising around for long periods of time. They'd been gone long enough they had been reported missing. And there was simply for the past 5 months, had been no sign of them at all. And then they show up here shooting at a courier. The ship they docked in was the ship they were supposed to be on. It belonged to one of them. There was nothing weird on board. It wasn't loaded down with weapons. They had a few sidearms and a few, they had enough equipment that if they wanted to go hunting, they could have gone hunting, or pistols for self-defense if they were in, a bad sector or something. But, nothing suspicious. The yacht, it was a pleasure yacht. It wasn't armed. Had a really high-end engine in it, but that's, rich boys wanting to fly fast. There are some investigators from Earth, from the Sol system coming, since it was some of their citizens. But yeah, the local station guys are pretty much writing it off. They don't know what kind of criminal activity these two must have gotten involved in that they'd wind up here, or why this artifact would have been worth that to them.
Did you happen to get it back?
Oh yes, yeah, you were wanting to examine it, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
He gives you an address to the lab he has examining it. I'll contact them tomorrow and make sure they give you make sure you have permission to get in and examine it yourself.
Okay.
Though I warn you, there wasn't much left of it.
That's fine.
The internals were almost completely fried.
Makes sense.
So, eventually I'll wrap up. He tells you he doesn't have something else to send you out on right away. You, of course, still have use of the roustabout. As per the agreement, it's essentially yours to use. And he'll contact you when he has something else for you to do. So as you were leaving, not as you're leaving the manor, but as you're kind of leaving the uppity sector you're in, everybody give me perception checks.
What have we been doing so well on lately?
Yeah, well, Oh, Adrian did pretty good. Dan Rue did alright. Francis did pretty good.
Did we get paid?
Nobody brought that up. Yes. Despite the lack of actually showing up with an artifact, he was pretty pleased with the amount of information you brought him. Truthfully, you probably brought him more information than he'd have gotten out of a robot.
didn't bring him a knife.
So did we get a
pedestal.
bonus?
Don't go talking all crazy now. You got the agreed upon price, whatever that was.
You never told us the agreed upon price because you were still figuring out how the money worked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That is true.
Joke's on you. He's still figuring out how the money works.
Yeah, I flagged.
We've gotten a moderate amount of money.
Insert moderate amount of money here. I will get
Insert
that to you
level
the next
3
day
payment.
too.
Yeah.
I'll send it out over the Discord or whatever. Alright, so anyway, with those checks, Cat and Jade notice nothing.
That's just like can we go to McDonald's?
I'm
Adrian?
so tired. I just want to sleep on a bed.
Adrian, you
Hate the
notice
damn ship.
4 people following you. Following the group, I should say.
Guys, we're being followed.
They don't necessarily seem to be all together. Let's see. You notice 4 of them. Danru and Francis. When he says you're being followed, yeah, each of you have already spotted somebody that was clearly following you. And again, and when I say you, I mean the group as a whole, since you're all clustered together.
Can Cat do the kind of peek over the shoulder who? What?
Oh, and we're still kind of, sort of in the well-to-do area?
You're on the outskirts of it, kind of getting back into the middle class area or the shopping area or whatever.
I vote we go talk to the station security. Let's just walk straight there.
Yeah, Danru will tell the rest of the group. Head for security. Danru turns around. Excuse me, sir. Do you have some business with me?
Which one do you talk to?
The one I can tell is following, closest.
He kind of stops alarm that he's been made. No, sir. I was just traveling this direction. You have a good day, and he keeps going.
You too, sir.
Adrian, when he does that,
Yes.
you notice one guy, another guy kind of, I guess, closer to him, kind of breaks off, kind of gets him some distance. The other 2 look surprised. They look, they're kind of surprised at the one guy, and then it's like they kind of spot the other guy making himself scarce. They kind of look at each other, and then they break off.
Were we being followed by 2 different sets of spies?
It sounds like it.
4 different people took the same mission.
My God, do we have a bounty? Right.
See,
What do you do?
Adrian, kind of from behind our cash friend, will just sort of tap him. And does he have a visor on?
Wait, who?
You, Daniel.
Nah, I mean, I've got a part of a helmet, I guess. However, the heavy armor works that I wear.
Okay,
I don't recall it having too much of a faceplate at first, but it's got some.
if you have some sort of HUD or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
he will sort of mark the guy who backed up but didn't look like he broke off, and then they'll keep going.
Cat'll make a note of what area they're in just to pass on that information to the security guards. Be like, hey, we're law-abiding citizens.
Danru will continue standing guard without leaving the section while you guys keep moving.
You see the guy they're talking about that kind of broke off from the one you spotted but didn't actually leave the area.
Mm.
And, like I said, you get at the edge of the shopping area, so he's kind of perusing some stalls.
I stay awkwardly close, doing a poor impression of what he's doing.
He finally gets a look on his face like,
What race were the groups following us?
2 of them were Prometheans, and the other one was what are the lion guys or the cat guys called?
Not Khajiit.
Yes, not Khajiit. Very
Not
good.
Khajiits. They did not have wares.
Also,
But he is
I would like
perusing
to make
wares.
I would like to make a point to memorize their faces.
Valna, so Velna?
Here, kitty kitties.
Volna.
Cat's gonna be a little concerned with some of them being Promethean.
Yeah, so's Adrian.
But yeah, those 2. The cat guy is the one that you actually spoke to, Danru.
Alright. But yeah, I'm just making a point to memorize their faces.
Where the
Of
other
the
one
2 I've
is
seen.
well, these pages wouldn't stick together. Some of these names. Dendus. Dindus.
Is that the one with
That is the one with like the
tentacles?
tentacle hair.
Yeah.
You know, both of them very common species. And it's that one. It's a male one, but it's that one that was perusing the wares that Danru was getting awkwardly close to. And he finally just kind of goes, folds up the little shirt or whatever he was looking at, kind of folds it up and sets it back. You have a good day.
You too, sir. You too. I'm sorry for any inconvenience that may have been caused. And Tanner starts to walk off.
But, so you make it back to the ship fine, or, wherever y'all were going. You can always rent rooms here, or you can just live on the ship, while you're docked.
Ship's free!
Pretty
Ship
much.
is free. I mean, there's docking fees, but other than that.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and get some quick pictures taken.
Oh, I take that back. There would not be docking fees. Achilles essentially has a permanent dock that the ship's assigned to because, he owns the ship.
Nice.
So, while there would be docking fees at other stations, here it's kind of part of Achilles' estate or whatever. Not in location, but, it's taken care of.
So I would like to bring up the fact I have an ability called Minor Alteration
Mm-hmm.
that
Oh,
allows
Lord.
me to kind of look like other creatures for a moment, but my eyes are still black, so you can tell it's Akesh doing it.
Sunglasses,
But
man.
yeah, I'll go ahead and take the face of the people that are following us, and we'll take pictures and go, these are the faces of the people that were following us. Keep a lookout for them.
Were the Prometheans Crescent or Fireblood? They had different hair colors.
It's a very good question, actually. Yeah.
Prometheans would have silver at the scalp. The Firebloods would have, so they just have deep browns to bright reds.
Oh my. Which would be most concerning to Cat?
Crescent?
Yeah, it'd be concerning to Adrian, too.
Yeah, they were Crescent.
Lovely.
Just kind of looks over him like, well, that's an interesting tidbit. I'm not leaving the ship now. This is my home now. I like this corner over here.
Same here,
I
bye.
like this ship. I like sitting in a chair across from the door with my gun in my lap.
Yeah, we're just gonna, Yeah, bye. And he just goes to the ship.
Now, you know, just because they're the same people as you don't mean nothing. It's not like you know every, Crescent Promethean.
You're like stupid paranoid though about the shit they
Yeah.
pulled.
Alright, let's see. Yeah, it's about 10 till 9. Is there anything else y'all wanted to do today?
Well, now that there's Crescent Prometheans that were stalking them, no.
You don't know that they were stalking you. They were following the group as a whole. They could have been after Francis. He looks untrustworthy.
He does.
Now that just
Francis
racial
the
profile.
fuck.
Seeing the fear in their eyes, Danro asks them if there's things they need him to go do.
Nah.
No, I'm good.
Cat is gonna
thanks.
watch the news to see if anything's come up about the shit they pulled back on.
Yeah, Adrian's in there with her.
Alright, let's see. I'm trying to remember if y'all had sent me the information on that, on exactly what went down.
Oh, we did.
Okay. I was thinking, that's right, I think I've got the information on you. Francis and Jade have made references that I don't know about, that I don't know the details of.
I will be getting you that document in a few days.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not a big deal. You know, up till now, it hasn't been important. Now it may be important. Or not. Maybe both of these groups were stalking, your Promethean buddies.
They're just here to pickpocket all of us.
That's true. Some of them could have just been thieves or paparazzi or, any other thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're stalking me for my scene.
Phrasing?
Phrasing.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Phrasing.
I thought we took care of that last night.
I
That's-
pluralized it.
That's
Pluralizing it means
that's
it's
even
planned.
more phrasing.
I don't know how your species works downstairs,
Yeah.
I'm a farmer. Stop making
That's
fun
what
of me
they're
for my
calling it
farming
now.
seeds.
Now I'm picturing your high-tech armor, but with a farmer's tan.
Straw hat.
Piece of straw. Pitch.
Kish has got a very red neck.
space.
I don't know what it is.
Space pitchfork.
Alright, so we're going to wrap here for the evening. Thank all y'all that were watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you tune in next time. If you liked our shenanigans, there's another game will be streamed on here tomorrow, run by V. It's a Monster of the Week. It's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer supernatural style of game. I want to thank my players. I forgot to do the intros at the beginning again, so we'll do them here at the end. Where I have Sarah playing Kat, Taylor playing Danru, Eric playing Adrian, Zach and Anna playing Francis and Jade respectively, and normally we'd have Patrick playing Hull, but he was out today. Business or something, I don't know.
We're all playing Hole today.
Well, he's kind of like, has he got something useful he can do? Yes, roll it. All right.
He takes a 20 because he has
back.
nothing better to do.
Oh, I
He just
should
comes back, finds out Hull's dead, and we rolled a new character for him.
It's the same guy, but he now has a neat little handkerchief.
Yeah, it's like, the hell did you all do?
He has a goatee. It's Evil Hall.
He wears a different colored cape. You know, when the
Yeah.
fighting gets bad, you just dive behind the pile of dead engineers. That's a reference if anybody's watched the Gamers movies. Anyway, thank all y'all for showing up, both the players and the viewers, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
See you.